Hello, I'm Jocelyn, a communicator specializing in urological health, male well being, and masculine maturity. Many of you know me here on the channel as Anaida Miko, because for years I've calmly and openly explained things that are rarely discussed in medical consultations, the truth about size, circulation, and the habits that can support or sabotage your intimate health. Today, we're going to dive deep into a topic that sparks a lot of curiosity. Baking soda, that white powder you already have in your kitchen, the one your grandmother used for 1,000 different things. Now it's showing up in viral videos promising miracles for your size and potency. And by the end of this video, when you hear the phrase, use baking soda like this and watch what happens to your size, I want you to smile with peace of mind. You'll know exactly what's true, what's myth, and how to use it responsibly to take care of your body instead of harming it. For years, the idea has been repeated that there's a sure trick, a perfect cocktail, a mysterious homemade recipe capable of changing your size, as if the body were made of clay. People talk about baths, massages, mixtures with lemon, vinegar, and baking soda as if intimate tissue were simply a balloon that inflates more. But the human body doesn't work that way. Size is determined by genetics, hormones, and development in early childhood, not by what you apply at 50 or the powder you take at 60. What can change significantly is how the tissue fills with blood, the quality of your erections, your confidence, and your vitality. And this is where habits, including some responsible uses of baking soda, can have an indirect influence, though never in the exaggerated way they've been sold to you. I want to start by clarifying something with complete honesty. There is no solid scientific evidence that baking soda by itself permanently increases size. There is no baking soda cream, no baking soda bath, and no miraculous baking soda drink that changes the structure of your intimate tissue. What does exist is a dangerous mix of marketing, desperation, and misinformation that exploits male insecurity. Chapter 2: Viral Promises and the Danger of Misinformation. Why does this narrative work so well? Because size is still a topic loaded with shame, comparison, and silence. Many men believe they're below average when they're actually well within the normal range. And when someone promises more size with an extremely cheap ingredient like baking soda, the temptation to believe it is enormous. My role today is not to sell you another trick, but to help you regain control. Before I explain how to use it, I need you to understand what baking soda really is. Baking soda, sodium bicarbonate, is a well-known salt used in cooking with alkaline properties. It's used in baking because it releases gas and makes dough rise. In the body, its classic medical use is as an antacid to neutralize excess stomach acid in specific situations. It has also been used in hospitals to correct very specific pH imbalances in the blood, always under medical supervision. In the world of sports, it has been studied as a buffer that helps neutralize some of the acidity produced during intense exercise. In other words, baking soda is far from a magic powder. It's a specific chemical tool with defined uses, potential benefits, and clear risks when abused. Now, what does any of this have to do with your intimate health and size? Here's the interesting part. Male intimate response depends mainly on blood circulation, nervous function, and hormonal balance. Anything that improves the health of your blood vessels, blood pressure, metabolism, and reduces chronic inflammation can promote firmer erections and better expansion of what you already have. It doesn't grow, but it expresses itself better. And anything that sabotages that circulation, such as excess salt, uncontrolled hypertension, a sedentary lifestyle, obesity, or smoking, reduces that filling capacity. Baking soda, when used naively or excessively, adds a lot of sodium, which can affect your blood pressure and overload your kidneys and heart. In other words, if misused, it can work against exactly what you're looking for: healthy circulation and solid, intimate vitality. Chapter 3: What really determines size? Imagine a 65-year-old man, let's call him Ernesto. He watches a video promising that if he takes baking soda on an empty stomach for a month, his size will increase and his performance will be like when he was 20. He doesn't research, doesn't ask questions, he simply copies the recipe. A full tablespoon in water every morning. After a few weeks, he starts feeling digestive discomfort, bloating, and occasional nausea. But he puts up with it because he believes it's part of the process. Then he notices something more worrying. He feels more swollen. His blood pressure rises a little and he sleeps worse. His intimate function, instead of improving, becomes more irregular. What happened? He didn't change his size, but he disrupted his internal balance. More sodium, more pressure on the cardiovascular system, more general discomfort. His body was trying to tell him something, but he kept chasing a result that science never promised. In contrast, let me introduce you to another man. Let's call him Luis, 58 years old. He also hears about baking soda, but he decides to use it wisely, not as a size trick, but as part of a broader approach to self-care. Sometimes he uses it in the kitchen to reduce the acidity of certain dishes. He keeps his intake within reasonable limits and, above all, understands that his real medicine is improving his circulation, walking every day, managing his weight, cutting ultra-processed foods, dealing with stress, and building confidence with his partner. Lewis might try a warm bath with a pinch of baking soda to soothe mild skin irritations in the genital or groin area without applying it directly to the penis, without aggressive rubbing, and without believing it will change his size. He uses baking soda as a gentle skin support, not as a body remodeling tool. And that's when the product returns to its proper place: a helper, not the main character. Chapter 4: What baking soda really does in the body. Now let's talk about the most common uses of baking soda, related to the intimate area and what it can or cannot provide. One frequent use is warm sitz baths with a small amount of baking soda to relieve superficial irritations, chafing, or mild discomfort on the external skin. In some men with heavy sweating or sensitive skin, this can help neutralize odors and reduce itching. It's important to be clear: these baths act on the skin, not on deep tissues or internal blood vessels. They don't modify structures or increase anything. What they can do is improve comfort. And when you feel more comfortable, cleaner, and fresher, your confidence improves. And when confidence increases, your perception of your own size and performance also changes. Another key point is oral use of baking soda. This is where you need to be especially cautious. Yes, small, well-measured amounts taken occasionally can relieve occasional stomach acidity. But turning it into a daily remedy or a ritual for increasing size is a mistake. Every teaspoon you take adds sodium. In a mature man who already tends toward hypertension, edema, or kidney problems, this can push things in the wrong direction: higher pressure, more vascular stiffness, and greater risk to intimate circulation. Exactly the opposite of what you need for solid, healthy erections. Using baking soda as if it were a male tonic completely misunderstands its role in the body. Chapter 5: Circulation, the real key factor. Now, I want us to look at the topic of size in a different, more realistic, and more liberating way. When a man says he wants to increase his size, what he often really wants is to feel more secure, more capable, and more confident in his intimate response. What he's seeking isn't a change in centimeters, but a change in experience. Fewer failures, less fear, more stability. And here's something very important. When your circulation is working well, your blood pressure is reasonably controlled, your blood sugar levels are good, and your nervous system isn't overloaded with stress, your intimate tissue fills with blood better and stays firm longer. What does baking soda have to do with this? More than you might think, but not because it increases anything. Actually, its improper use can sabotage the very circulatory health you need so badly. Think of your body as a delicate system seeking balance. The pH of your blood, for example, is kept within a very narrow range. The body has sophisticated mechanisms, lungs, kidneys, internal buffers to maintain it. When someone promises that alkalizing your body with baking soda will solve all your problems, including intimate potency, they are grossly oversimplifying something very complex. You don't need to correct your blood pH with spoonfuls of powder. What you need most is to sleep better, move more, eat less salt and less sugar, quit smoking, drink enough water, manage stress, and, if necessary, adjust medications with a healthcare professional. These are the real tricks that favor your functional size, the ability of what you already have to express itself at its maximum potential. How to use baking soda responsibly without turning it into a silent enemy of your circulation. First, respect it. It's not candy, it's not an innocent supplement. It's a chemical tool with real power. If you use it as an antacid, do so occasionally and follow the product instructions. Don't improvise giant doses you saw on the internet. If you have hypertension, kidney disease, heart failure, or take specific medications, always consult a doctor before using it orally. If you want to use it on the skin, do so in moderate dilutions in water. Never apply it directly to the most sensitive tissues and never rub aggressively. Think soothing baths, not enlargement therapies. If you notice irritation, persistent redness, or discomfort, stop using it immediately. Chapter 6: Wrong Use, Real Risks. I also want to share the story of Martin, a 62-year-old man who came to my consultation and gave me permission to share his experience anonymously. He was completely convinced that his problem was about size. He had tried everything: exercises, massages, homemade recipes with baking soda, lemon, and other mixtures that left his skin irritated. When I asked what worried him most, he didn't talk about centimeters. He spoke about the fear of failure, of his partner's gaze, of a recent moment when he couldn't maintain a stable erection and was left trapped in shame. In our exploration, we found hypertension, a sedentary lifestyle, poor sleep quality, and extremely high stress levels. His size was never the problem. There's another aspect I don't want to leave out: confidence with your partner. Many men begin to experience normal, age-related changes. Erections that take a little longer, slower recovery, less automatic responses. Instead of talking about it, they isolate themselves, look for quick online solutions, expose themselves to dangerous advice, and end up doing things that not only don't help, but can damage the skin, disrupt local flora, or irritate the intimate area. Using baking soda indiscriminately can dry out the skin, disrupt its balance, and increase unpleasant sensitivity. Imagine seeking better performance and ending up with discomfort just from the touch of your underwear. That's not the way. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for your intimate health is to say to your partner, "I'm noticing changes. I want to take better care of myself. I'd like us to talk about this together." It's also important to remember that vitality in maturity doesn't depend on a single product, but on a symphony of factors. Your blood circulation benefits from a diet rich in vegetables, fruits, healthy fats, quality proteins, and low in ultra-processed foods. Your hormonal balance is better maintained when you sleep enough, manage stress, and avoid excessive alcohol. We completely set aside the baking soda recipes and focused on daily walking, adjusting his blood pressure medication, improving his rest, and opening up communication with his partner. Months later, his size was still the same, but his erections were much firmer and, above all, his confidence had completely changed. That's the lesson I want to leave with you. When we talk about what happens to your size and what can really happen if you start using baking soda wisely while focusing on your overall health, your self perception changes. You stop looking for miracles in the pantry and start building real results in your arteries, your heart, and your mind. You can continue using baking soda in the kitchen as an ally for cooking or even in gentle skin baths, but you will no longer see it as a magic shortcut, only as one more tool in a routine of genuine self care.